So, Colin, are the Cowboys' season, are they doomed without Zeke?
I don't think so. I really honestly, I felt this about 3 weeks ago. The story to me is their offensive and defensive line play. I think Zeke was really important last year when they couldn't get to the quarterback. But about 3 weeks ago, they played San Francisco, and it just jumped off the television. I'm like, wow. I know their offensive line is great. Now their defensive line leads the NFC in sacks, number one in pressures. So I think the narrative on what they are has changed. You know, the Seahawks used to be Marshawn Lynch. Now it's more of a Russell Wilson story. I think Dallas is fine. That's my takeaway.
I mean, I think you're right. I mean, I think they're going to miss Zeke. I still think they can run the football, but they're a better football team with Zeke than without Zeke. And I think they've been going through this for months now. You know, is he going to be here? Is he not going to be here? And I think now since he's not going to be here, but the Cowboys are playing pretty good football right now.
Right.
You know, and I think the story with the Cowboys really is Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is playing great. And if you got a running game, that's going to help. And they have two good running backs, not like Zeke, but they have two really good backs.
Alfred Morris will start in place of him. He was laughing, actually, when people say, like, oh, how are you going to fill in for Zeke? He's like, I'm a professional. I mean, like, it's insulting at some point,
well,
right?
Whitlock's off today, and we've done just fine without him already. The show's a minute old, so I think we're fine.
I think the thing people forget is they've had months to prepare for this. It's been going back and forth, so it's not like this has snuck up on the team.
Exactly.
They know what they're going to run. They know how they're going to adjust to life without Zeke, and I agree with you. I think I was a late adapter on Dak. I wanted to see it. I wanted to see more of him. And going into this year and the things that he's done this year, he's really grown. He's matured. He's doing things better and more consistently and talking to people in the organization. His maturity, his leadership, all those things are so much better. And that's why I think they have a lot of hope.
I think sometimes, too, you know, I've always said, having lived in Vegas and known guys who set the odds, is that they're the truth serum. There's no agendas. Coaches have favorites, sports writers have favorites, or whatever. Zeke is worth 1 point in Las Vegas. So the team that I don't think Dallas will beat, Philadelphia, would have beaten him with Zeke and without, and Atlanta wasn't going to beat him with or without. So the way I look at Dallas with Atlanta this weekend, I think they have a significant advantage on line play, and Atlanta's struggling. So I like them this weekend.
I think that we all agree that, of course, Zeke makes your team better, but you're okay without him. You still have the offensive line, you still have the defense, and you still have Dak playing at a high level. So
I agree. And Alfred Morris is a very adequate backup.
Right.
I mean, for sure. And I keep going back to Dak Prescott. He's playing very good football. I mean, I liked him last year from the beginning. I mean, you know, a lot of people wasn't sold on it, like, oh, we didn't roam on this, roam on that.
On him.
But, you know, I saw him the first preseason game, and I'm like, who is this guy that looks like a seasoned pro? And they said, it's Dak Prescott. I said, where is he from? Mississippi. I'm like, I never heard of him. And he reminded me so much of Warren Moon. Each week, he got better and better and better. And this season, it just shows.
So much maturity, too.
And he's so much mature.
We also don't give coaches credit. Look at the Rams year to year. That's a coaching story. Now, there's personnel upgrades on the offense. But I think we have to give Dallas's coaching staff credit. It's very offensive-minded, Jason Garrett, Linehan. Part of Dak's improvement is that staff. Like, to me, when I watch Dallas, I'm like, it's an offensive-leaning staff, and it's not a surprise they've drafted well on the offensive side. Their efficiency's pretty high. They make almost no mistakes. They don't fumble. They don't throw interceptions. So this is also a coaching story.
I thought the two plays at the end of the first half last week against Kansas City were a great indication of his growth. He hits a 3rd and 15. Then the next play, he scrambles out to the right, extends the play, and hits another play for 56 yards. They go down and score. Those plays, he's making a lot more consistently than he did before. I'll say the one thing that Dallas does have to prove is that they can run the ball with somebody else, because Zeke is going to get 8-man box when he's in there. And if they don't prove that they can still run the ball early, it's going to be a lot more split safety, which will make the passing game harder to go.
All right, Charissa, should Cam model himself a little bit after Brady?
I want to know if Cam's actually seen Benjamin Button. No chance. Because if it's any reference, like he said with the Titanic, we're just going to keep moving like the Titanic. How did that work out?
Not great.
Not great. No, I don't think he should model himself after Tom Brady. I think that's not who he is. I mean, should we do the whole Denny Green, they are who we thought they were kind of a thing? I mean, that's not who Cam Newton is. Cam Newton had 14 rushing touchdowns in his first season. I think Brady's had 17 in his whole career. These are very different different quarterbacks. And look, should he make some adjustments? We saw it last year with him in terms of staying healthy. When he gets outside the pocket, he's vulnerable, and that puts his team in jeopardy. So there's certain things he can do to make sure that he doesn't put himself in a compromising position, but I don't think that he should try to be Tom Brady. That's not who he is.
I know, it almost sounds very Tony Robbins, but really quarterback, it's almost like this for actors. Be the best you. Like Tom is just the best Tom. And it may look a little like Joe Montana in the accuracy, but I mean, you know, if Cam was going to model himself after anybody, it would be somebody, I would think Ben Roethlisberger, who is, because that's his skill set. He is big, he throws well in the run, you can do some zone read. But I think Carolina, if you look at the way they're building, is like the Steelers are building. They're trying to build this really profound running game because Ben gets dinged up. So I understand like having a role model in life, but ultimately just do you really well.
I want to be Giselle, so I put in hair extensions and some makeup, but that doesn't mean I'm a supermodel.
Look, he should absolutely model himself after Tom Brady in the sense that Tom, no matter how much money he's gotten, no matter how much success he's had, all those things, he is incredibly humble, and he's always trying to figure out what he can do to improve. That's what Cam should model himself after, is that work ethic, that drive, that consistency, that humbleness. All those things, whether you're a great business, a great leader, people are always looking at best practices. And Tom Brady has established a lot of best practices for being a quarterback. Now, he should be true to his identity. He should be an authentic person. But the way Tom operates, yes, model yourself 100%.
Did you tell young players, look at what Brady's doing?
Yeah, you look. I tell old players, look at what Brady's doing. You can tell anybody, look at what Brady's doing, whether it's him or Belichick. It's that consistent humbleness and drive that they have, regardless of all the accolades.
So you're talking more off the field stuff.
Yeah, I'm talking off the field stuff. He should be who he is, personality-wise, but adapt those practices.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you to a point, and you're right, off the field. I mean, my mother, I had a cousin, my favorite cousin, and my mother said, why come you can't be like Bobby? Do you not like Bobby? Bobby was really smart. I wasn't as smart as Bobby. I'm like, and my mom like, I'm not Bobby, I'm Eric. So he should be Cam. You know, I had coaches try to tell me, you need to get down lower, son. You're not gonna make it running up high. You know, get down lower, like this guy. I'm like, I'm not that guy. You have to be who you are. You know, he's a guy that's physical. Sometimes he runs too much, but Cam is who Cam is. I mean, his personality, you like him or you love him. I mean, it is what it is. He's not going to change.
There's only a like and love in there.
Yeah, you like him or you love him. I mean, he's not going to be Tom Brady.
But did you ever tweak your game? Like, was there ever a part of your game that you did tweak?
No, you know, my game is what my game is. I always ran. They say I ran high. I didn't change that. You know, when you get to the NFL now, you have to adjust because from college to pros, it's a big difference. But did I try to get down lower? No, I did not. I mean, I knew what I was good at. I knew I could cut. I was fast. And if I tried to get down low, I'd have looked like a little squatty body trying to jump around on the field.
I mean, remember the whole Be Like Mike campaign? I mean, Michael Jordan, I mean, there's this idea that you can try to emulate greatness or at least model yourself after that a little bit.
Kobe Bryant sounded like MJ when he broke into the league.
Yeah.
And no, there are things, I mean, even broadcasters, there are things, I mean, I've stolen from everybody. And they're a bit from a Costas or, you know, you watch the way people...
What'd you take from Costas?
Just his sort of reserved style. He was when I was a young kid and I watched Costas, I was like his tempo, the way he talked, his pauses, he let stuff sit and bake. This is so boring. But the way...
Is it? I don't know.
But kind of the way Bob talked and set up stories, he was, and I always thought the way his mannerisms, and I, you know, there's just, I think you can steal stuff, but to your point, you can't, I don't know, you know, Bobby, by the way, I didn't like the way Bobby ran, your cousin. So I think you kind of have to be yourself.
Yeah, he should play the way that works best for him. To me, it's modeling the other behaviors that'll help him be successful. And he's run into a lot of problems with things off the field. And I'm sure, Eric, in your career, you had some veterans that helped you along, whether it was in the classroom or at practice, somebody that gave you some insight that helped you somewhere.
No one helped me.
Nobody helped you?
Of course, you're right.
Yeah, so it's those things that you can look to where he could really improve.
Well, I think you're remiss if you don't look at the best, who's ever at the top of the pyramid, and how did they get there? And if you don't try to at least draw from some of that, then you're doing yourself a disservice. It's like, this is the recipe for success. Let me try to follow this a little bit, even if you add in a few things of your own, which make you an individual.
Yeah, this is why autobiographies sell. I mean, you read Steve Jobs' autobiography, and everybody in Silicon Valley is like, oh, yeah. I mean, that's just, I think, human nature.
That's why I said, can I fill in for Whitlock? Because I'm trying to be great. So I want to sit next to Colin.
There you go.
I thought you were Whitlock. It's just a lot better looking.